I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
Yes, he said that. Yes, he read that. May 11, 2024 at Benedictine College. Harrison Butker, I hope I said his name right, just because I pride myself on that kind of thing, not because I want him to be happy. This man read that speech. It was a commencement speech. He was invited at Benedictine College. It's a Roman Catholic college. It was a graduation ceremony and they felt that he would inspire them, and he read that. Let's listen. It's gone viral.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. By making it to this moment through all the adversity thrown your way from COVID, I hope you learned the important lessons that suffering in this life is only temporary. As a group, you witnessed firsthand how bad leaders who don't stay in their lane can have a negative impact on society. While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people, it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. The world around us says that we should keep our beliefs to ourselves whenever they go against the tyranny of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We fear speaking truth because now, unfortunately, truth is in the minority. Congress just passed a bill where stating something as basic as the biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail. I am certain the reporters at the AP could not have imagined that their attempt to rebuke and embarrass places and people like those here at Benedictine wouldn't be met with anger, but instead met with excitement and pride. Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify Him.
The only reason people are surprised by Harrison Butker's speech is because they don't understand how misogyny works. They think it's like being an incel. Only the least desirable men, the poor, the broke, the ones who are jealous of our opportunities are going to be out there spewing this kind of hatred and vitriol towards women. Or they just dismiss it. They say, oh, well, he's a Catholic, so it doesn't matter. He's just an old-fashioned guy. Maybe it's how he was raised. Both those things are a lie. His mother is a physicist. According to this article, his mother has a degree in chemistry from Smith College as well as a master's degree in medical physics. And this is important because he's no idiot himself. He has a bachelor's in engineering. He was also born in 1995. People, you can't keep dismissing naked misogyny as, oh, he's old-fashioned, or maybe it was the way he was raised. None of that is true. What we're seeing is more and more men are getting radicalized on the internet. Harrison is a millennial who probably came of age watching Tom Brady play and has modeled his whole life after this man. And what did Giselle do? She gave up her entire career for him. She stayed home. A lot of people say she was the reason for his success, whether you want to think that was through witchcraft or some other means. But the point is, men of the last couple of generations are being fed the story that their success is dependent on women's submission. They tell you the reason everything is in free fall right now is not because of the corporations, it's not because of the government, it's because women won't get back in our so-called place. And they are feeding it to men who go on to have a platform. It's not about money. Harrison makes millions. He doesn't need a stay-at-home wife. He could pay for somebody to do all that labor. But his conviction that women should be leaning into their so-called vocation of being a homemaker is because this is what he has been told will bring about the salvation of the world. The plutocracy has broken the system and created a truly unfixable situation, and so they are promoting an impossible solution. It is not possible that all the women, or even the majority of the women in this country, could quit their jobs tomorrow and stay at home and be homemakers and have children. Nobody in this country can afford it. And even if they could, it would cripple the economy. The last recession was called a C-cession because during the coronavirus, everybody, lots of women, were quitting their job because school was not in and they couldn't have nannies because of bubbles and whatnot. There was no one to care for the children, so women had to quit their jobs, and it almost took the economy out. It's not just one uninformed idiot who works in the NFL. We're seeing this kind of call in the newspapers, by pundits, on podcasts, all around us in our society. Well, women should, oh, the birth rate, oh, the wealth gap. Women have only been in the workforce en masse for the last 50 to 70 years. So everything that's happened that's gone wrong in the past 20 to 30 years is not their fault. We just got here. But as long as they keep providing a solution that really isn't a solution because it could never happen, they can keep on blaming women and not doing anything about the actual issue. But to my other point, it shows you that men who are incels are not just the undesirable ones who can't get women. This guy makes millions. He's got the dream job for a lot of guys. He was role model enough to be asked to speak at a commencement. He's not a loser in his mother's basement. But he's still so threatened by the idea that women might do it better. I read another article. He said he was trying to stretch out his time in the NFL as much as possible. Yeah, he was going to have to work one day. The career spans in the NFL aren't all that long, but he wanted to put it off as long as possible. Are you afraid you're not going to measure up? That you're not going to be as good as the other engineers? And that the women who have been training and studying this their whole lives might be better at it than you? Because his wife was no slouch. Isabel Tarani was both a successful basketball player at her college and got a bachelor's in computer science. This man makes millions per year. He could afford a nutritionist, just like he has a trainer and everything else he needs for football. He could have a live-in maid and a nanny, and she could go on about her business. She could be at work right now. Why is he so intent on having a stay-at-home wife, even before she was a stay-at-home mother? These men are afraid of the competition, so they keep you down so you can't even try. They're also afraid of your ability to leave. And I want to be very, very clear. Yes, I do believe that if you are with a man, he should make his presence worthwhile because men are a net negative unless they're adding to your life. But that doesn't mean you should go along with his program just because he's paying for everything. You have to think about what is going to serve you. Being with a man whose career has no longevity and not working, and who also, have a career that is one of the least faithful in America is not going to serve you. Be a wag all you want to, but make sure that you are doing things to advance your career so if the marriage does go south, you have the ability to work in your field. But this desperate speech also shows just how valuable your labor is, because even though this guy can afford to pay for all those people, he still wants the wife to do it. They're so desperate for your energy. They really want your affirmation. They want to be catered to like children. Maybe these guys were latchkey or something because they are just so desperate for a mother type woman to come into their life. He didn't want his kids to have a stay-at-home mother. He wanted a stay-at-home mother. He wants somebody to come pat his head after the game and say, baby, you did so good. Such a good job. Does my big boy, does he want chicken tendies? And that is more important than your career, than the lives you could save, than the impact you could have on the earth. The only important thing in his mind is supposed to be his legacy, and you're supposed to be the background to his foreground. Do not marry a man who's competing with you. He will lead you a dog's life. This man is sick and he needs some serious help, but he is highly indicative of the mindset of many of the men of his generation. A lot of men have evolved in the millennial and Gen Z set. A lot of men have not. They are intentionally regressing. They are going to be left behind. But thank God they don't have the intelligence to hide their hubris. So at least we know, we can see them coming. That's it, ladies. Like and follow for more.
This is Harrison Butker's mom, Elizabeth Butker. And I want you to just look at her credentials. She is a medical physicist on staff at Emory University. If you don't know who Harrison Butker is, consider yourself lucky, but he is the kicker for the Chiefs, and he gave a horrific graduation speech yesterday at Benedictine College. In it, he talks about how a woman's true vocation is domestic work. And I just wonder, if his mom agrees. She has a bachelor's from Smith College, a master's in medical physics at the Georgia Institute of Technology, and she's been in the Department of Radiation Oncology at Emory University for 36 years. And it makes me wonder if he realized what a direct insult that was to his own parent. And it is evident that he has no respect for the work that she did and continues to do. And I am not here saying that domestic work is not work. I truly believe that it is a ton of work, and it is unpaid work. And it also doesn't matter that that would be the partnership that he would choose, even though his mom worked outside of the home. But to have a mother that is as accomplished as she is, and then to stand up in front of a graduating class, of which she was one of those people in her time, and say that women have been deviously misled into believing that having a career or getting promoted at work is more important than your true vocation of being in the home. This is wild to me.
Imagine paying $140,000 to then have a pale chief tell you, instead of having your head in them books, you should have had your head off the edge of that bed. Behind me is the fee schedule, the tuition and fee schedule for Benedict College, which is a Catholic college. Without housing, you are going to be paying $135,350 per year. For a man to tell you your greatest accomplishment will be being a wife and a mom. And what's crazy is I looked over the degree programs and I didn't see one degree in culinary arts, domestic engineering, home economics, apparel construction. So you got your degree in something you can't even use for your husband and kids. And imagine leaving that school after getting your $140,000 MRS degree. I'll be heartbroken.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Elaine. Welcome to the channel. Here we discuss and look into, examine and analyze viral trending topics. And sometimes we even take a vote on them. If you stick around at the end, you can cast your vote about what we're discussing today. This radical, very interesting, inflammatory, and downright insulting, depending on how you see things, commencement speech by Harrison Butker. Have mercy. I don't want to be butchering that name anymore. I'll just say the man, yeah? By that man. Let's just call him that man.
I'm a man who discovered the wheel and built the Eiffel Tower out of metal and brawn. That's what kind of man I am.
There's only one man in this video. So he goes to this graduation ceremony where he's the guest of honor, and instead of saying, "Hey kids, well done, welcome to the world of work, have at it, go make your money, go pay your student loans," he starts droning about himself, really.
Me!
How his wonderful wife Isabel couldn't wait to be a stay-at-home mom, and how especially you young women, congratulations you young women, you've probably been thinking about promotions, but most of you have been imagining and dreaming and just wishing upon a star about the marriages that you're going to be getting into and your vocation of childbearing.
You talk like that to your mother on Mother's Day?
I didn't make it up. We watched this together, didn't we? Yeah, you've probably seen it already. If you haven't, I'm happy to have shown it to you because, hey, I couldn't watch it alone. I need other people to suffer with me. So, yeah.
I have suffered enough.
He goes on to start talking, droning pretty much about himself and how his wife has been so fulfilled in being a wife and mother, and that the young women at this graduation ceremony who have been having sleepless nights, trying to pass that calculus exam, trying to raise their GPAs, wishing and praying that the professor grades on a curve and that they just get a C and that they can just graduate and be done with this and go to work some boring job and start to live their real lives. They're really looking forward to being wives and mothers. I don't know. I've got a few replies. Actually, I do know. I've got a few replies to this. Let's watch a few replies, this man's address, and then let's get into the conspiracy about it, because they're saying that this commencement speech, his speech wasn't really a speech to this group of young women, but it was him addressing another football player, a very famous football player. He's famous in his own right, and he was addressing this man and this man's girlfriend and her followers. Swifties.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything is as you see it.
Seems a little crazy.
Not really, not entirely. But first, let's watch the stitches and then we'll discuss the conspiracy. It's getting real, y'all.
Hey, Kansas City Chiefs. Just a word of advice from someone who's been a marketing and branding executive for over 15 years. I know, not very keep, sweet, pray, and obey of me. When you have your players sign these multi-million-dollar contracts, you should make them take a class called How to Be a Millionaire in Today's Economy, so that when your same player who criticizes the gay community while hiring them to dress him gives a very public commencement address that I'm still not convinced wasn't to rage bait Travis Kelce, and says in a speech that's definitely going to be seen by your core audience that they should lose their second stream of income when many of the people in your core audience are struggling to put food on their table, thereby alienating them by reminding them that unlike him, they can't afford to solely provide for their wives and their family. That another multi-millionaire in the sports franchise they watched to escape that stress just rage baited a bunch of women, but low-key called your core audience inadequate while talking about how happy and fulfilled his wife is as a stay-at-home mom. And I'm sure she is in her nearly 6,000 foot home with 3 porches, 2 kitchens, and heated floors. You could remind him of the class he took and maybe have him put $1 million in the douchebag jar, and maybe the money in that douchebag jar could go to charity since he's such a good Christian. But like a real charity, not this fake charity he set up that I'm guessing is a tax shelter and leads to a dead website. This is not very the Lord is my shepherd of him.
Just one more question for Harrison Butker. You know, you could have mentioned a ton of people, but in a speech where you mentioned women being homemakers, why did you mention Taylor Swift? And specifically, not even by name. Listen, we have had a good thing going on here with the Swifties for like the last year or so. It's been a sort of symbiotic relationship, if you will, between the Swifties and Chiefs Kingdom. Many of them learned about football for the first time. And as for us, we probably benefited from a ton of calls because of the fact that she was on the broadcast. But then you go and say something that might potentially screw up that relationship that we have with them. Like, do you know what those women are capable of? They will do anything to protect Taylor. And I mean literally anything. Like, has this dude not seen women have the power to bewitch men on a regular basis? Women have literally been getting men to go at each other physically for centuries. And you, who plays a physical sport in a mostly non-physical manner, decides it's a bright idea to go set off like the biggest fandom of women currently in like the world. Wow. Godspeed, Harrison.
So how about that? The stage, the lady who was saying that he wasn't addressing the students. We figured that out when he was talking about himself, his wife, tending to him and being the ballast, the buttress of his football career.
We're ready. We're ready to go out there and hit them every play. Right now, baby!
Staying at home and pretty much being the woman behind this man's success. We figured it out. We figured that out already. How about that? What this lady was saying, that this man was actually addressing Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. And he was pretty much just taking pot shots, using a graduation ceremony where he was invited as guest of honor to take pot shots at this other guy, right? How about her analysis that him doing that, talking about women should stay at home,
But being a mother, it's not enough for me.
is tone deaf. It's unrelatable. It's him alienating the fan base of the football club that pays him $20 million. He recently signed a $20 million contract. It's because of ordinary men and women who support this team. Couples who are going 50-50, who are going 60-40, who need the wife's income, who need 2 incomes to be able to pay their mortgage, especially in this recession that we've entered into, especially with inflation.
Just send your cash.
Wars and rumors of wars that are coming. People need side hustles to the main hustle.
To the hustle. To the hustle.
People need not just one, not just two. People are looking for side hustles, and him thinking very narrow, very targeted. This is the conspiracy that he was targeting Travis Kelce through this, that, well, I don't need my girlfriend's money. That's pretty much what he was saying. I don't need a famous girlfriend. My wife can just chill at home. Yeah, she can just chill at home in the big square footage house that I bought from playing football, from tickets that Joe Schmoes, who need their wives to be working in offices, in restaurants, in hotels, doing housekeeping. The money that he has been paid, $20 million. I can do that by myself. My wife can chill and birth out babies. Baby every year. Yeah. You need your girlfriend's platform. You need your girlfriend's support. You need the Swifties to be propping you up. This is the conspiracy that this lady was saying. Him saying all this to attack, I don't know, a fellow football player, I don't know, testosterone, whatever, hormones, aggression that men need for their sports. Boring. Him doing that was alienating the support base of the Kansas Chiefs. I don't even know the name of these football teams. I'm just working this viral topic. I don't need to know the football team.
1, 2, 3. How about those
He knows his football team and the fans know, right? So he's alienating the ordinary people just so that he can have a little tiff with Travis Kelce. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And now there's actually a petition that's doing the rounds. People are trying to get him canceled because what he said was tone deaf. How do you come to a graduation where people have been slaving their butts off for 4 years, both men and women, young men and women, slaving their butts off, sucking up to professors, taking courses, mandatory courses that are meaningless, that are boring, that are difficult, praying that they can just be graded on a curve for that difficult exam and they can be on and out of here and into the world of work. How do you come and say such a speech? People are also saying that don't even think about this man being canceled or being censured by his employer, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas Chief, I don't know. Don't even think that the football club is going to be coming against him or ordering him to make an apology, because this is part of the conspiracy as well, that it's a balancing game. The Swifties and Travis Kelce, they're on the left. This is my left, probably your right. And his speech is in support of right-wing thinking. So they have their Travis and his Swifties and Taylor Swift over there appeasing the left, my left, your right. And this guy speaking to the traditional values of the right family, reading, marriage, church, and God, right? I don't know. They can play ball, but what I'm thinking is, sir, go to your Instagram, fight Travis Kelce over there. You don't need to be coming to minimize, to rubbish the achievements of young people who have worked hard for this moment. This is their crowning moment. And isn't your mama a physicist?
This is Harrison Butker's mom, Elizabeth Butker. She is a medical physicist.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Do you hate your mama? Do you resent your mama, like people are saying in the comments? Because she's a woman of science. She studied at Smith College, the sister colleges. Yeah, she's a medical physicist, and he's not a dumb jock. He's an engineer. What is he talking about?
We have people that are stupid.
I don't know. The conspiracy theories seem to be starting to make sense. But he's also seeming like a tone deaf, dumb jock.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
And I think people need to make their calls here, make their own calls about who they support, who they give their money to in terms of sports, in terms of recreation. Because this man ain't it. This man is not it.
Just ignore him.
I don't know, what do you think? This is very interesting. You know, I was just thinking, here he is, just a dumb jock spewing traditional values, and I was like, whoa, time and place. Doesn't he have an Instagram page? Can't he go to a podcast? This isn't it. Not a graduation ceremony where we're crowning the achievements of the youth future that's coming in, future leaders, captains of industry, people who might be running the very football team that he works for. Nah, I don't know. Join us, cast your vote in the poll. What do you think in all this? I hope you've subscribed. Give us a like. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.